When I started my Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel, one thing I promised myself was that I was going to be authentic. I was going to tell my truths, be honest, and not necessarily give information that I wasn't an expert at. So that's really why I never have talked about Greeley, Colorado. But the individual sitting next to me is somebody who is from Colorado. They live in Greeley, Colorado. They work with Sukup Real Estate Services and are truly an expert in real estate and the surrounding areas of Greeley. You got Evans, Johnstown, you got Severance, Windsor, all of those areas. This guy is an expert in. And so he's gonna actually be the one that talks to you about different things about Greeley, Colorado. So we're gonna start a segment about living in Greeley, Colorado. Just as much as I've talked to you guys about living in Fort Collins, pros, cons, best places, employers, things to do, Caleb is going to talk to you guys about all things in Greeley in that part of our area. So without any further delay, I'm gonna let Caleb take it over from here. Thanks, sir, Caleb.
Thanks, Pat. Hey guys, as Patrick mentioned, my name is Caleb Andersen. I'm a realtor here on Sukup Real Estate Services. I have been in real estate since 2017. I originally moved up to the Front Range to attend Colorado State University in Fort Collins. I'm originally from a super small town out in eastern Colorado called Haxton, 800 to 1,000 people depending on who you ask. So I'm used to the rural life. Coming up here was a big culture shock for me. My first class at CSU had more people than my entire high school did, if that paints a picture for the change. But that said, I fell in love with the Front Range. I love Colorado. I can't anticipate going anywhere else. So this is home to me. Home, however, did shift from Fort Collins to Greeley. I fell in love with a girl that attended UNC. I transitioned over to Greeley myself, and I have been there for the last 1.5 to 2 years now. So I love Greeley. I love the community. I love real estate. So when you marry the two together, you get where I currently am now. So I am a member of Sukup Real Estate Services. I focus primarily on the Greeley, Evans market and surrounding areas, service Fort Collins as well, but Greeley is really where my heart lies. I've been working with Team Sukup since about 2017. I was not originally a realtor with them. I started off doing miscellaneous property work and upkeep, etc., as I was saving up to invest in my own rental properties and things of that nature. I wanted to be a homeowner as well after being around the Sukup crew. So I did take that route, ended up getting my license and joining the team because I loved them so much. I believed in the mission. I believed in their values. So I am now focusing on Greeley, Colorado for Team Sukup. A quick caveat for you guys, I'm gonna a lot of times refer to Greeley throughout this video. When I'm talking about Greeley, at this point I'm really talking about Greeley and Evans and kind of the outlying communities as Greeley expands and starts to really absolve them. A lot of times when we're talking about Greeley and Evans, the dividing line people consider is Highway 34. North of that is Greeley, south of that is Evans. That was traditionally it. Kind of the two have started to merge together. There's been a lot of growth in both. They're both great communities to be a part of. Actually, I am just on the edge of Greeley and Evans myself, so pretty heavily involved in both communities. There's not any difference realistically in the two. Greeley has more than 100,000 people in that area, so it's growing heavily. It still is smaller than some of the bigger towns like Fort Collins and Denver and Longmont, Boulder. But you still have some great opportunities, some great commercial activities, plenty to keep you busy. That being said, there are major advantages to Greeley versus some of the other communities in the area. Let's jump into it. Number one is the affordability. If you love Colorado, if you love the mountains, the outdoor active lifestyle, breweries, Greeley has all of that at a much more affordable price point than the Boulders and the Longmonts and the Fort Collinses of the state. For the square footage, you will be paying significantly less in Greeley than some of those communities. Greeley has still seen meteoric rises in property values and some great appreciation, just like those other communities. In fact, Greeley really is a beneficiary of being in the proximity of those towns. Because of its affordability, it ends up getting a lot of great people who don't want to spend that much money on a home and they want to keep some capital available for themselves. And Greeley itself still appreciates with the rest of the Colorado market. So it's a great town. It's got some great real estate value, and your dollar is going to stretch a lot farther in the Greeley-Evans area. Greeley is also home to a host of economic opportunities and employment opportunities, starting with University of Northern Colorado, UNC, go Bears. My wife went to UNC to become a teacher. It is the premier teaching institution in Colorado. It tends to be where the majority of folks want to go to get their teaching license, so they've got a great program for that. They also employ a whole host of professors and support staffs and grounds people and maintenance technicians and everything that goes into upkeeping a major university. All of that really helps contribute to the local Greeley economy. Outside of that, there's JBS USA, which is a major meat producer. There's lots of oil and gas surrounding the town. There's several industrial sites and major complexes throughout the city that host other large corporations. So Greeley is really a thriving hotbed with a bunch of different economic drivers. Colorado is known for its outdoor recreational activities, its beautiful sunshine, its mountains, and Greeley is not really any different. It has great proximity to the Rocky Mountains. You can zip over to Horsetooth in about a half hour if you want to go for a hike. You can go up to Estes in about an hour if you want to go see the views or see some elk or enjoy the downtown. So there's some great access to the outdoor life, things like that. Between Greeley and Evans and the Parks and Recreation, there's 30 plus parks in Greeley itself, and there's another 15 plus parks in Evan. So between the two, you've got more than 350 acres of recreational space for your kids, for you to go enjoy, to get out and be active. So Greeley really participates in the active lifestyle of Colorado, and that's one of the major advantages to being not just in this town, but in the state as a whole. So very great place to be. We benefit, like I said, from more than 300 days of sunshine in a year. But we also get the flip side. We get some snow. We have good proximity to snowboarding and skiing. I've gone up to Levelland Pass here several times in the past few years with some buddies. So it's always a good time to get out and enjoy the beautiful scenery and the things that Colorado really affords us here as a state. Greeley is also a very close-knit community. I know that's hard to imagine in a town of 100,000 people, but coming from a town of 1,000 people where it feels like you know everyone, it's ironic how often you still have that same feeling up here in Greeley and Evans. That being said, there's a whole host of festivals and downtown events, the largest which is probably Greeley Stampede, which is a 10 plus day rodeo concert series, kind of pays the Western heritage of Greeley and Evans a tribute, since it's so heavily involved in the agricultural community. So it's really cool to see some events like that happen. Me and my wife personally attend Greeley Stampede almost every year, go to a concert, go to some bull riding, go enjoy the carnival. Now that we've got a little daughter, we can't wait to take her to some of those events as well. So there's a lot going on in Greeley as far as community and downtown life and activities to keep you on your toes and plenty busy. Greeley also has a growing art and theater scene. Actually, the Union Colony Civic Center has 2 performing art centers, totaling more or just about 2,000 seats. So if you are a theater junkie, there's more than enough of that going around for you to get your fix. There's always some art shows through the University of Northern Colorado and downtown Greeley. Old Town downtown on 8th Avenue itself has some beautiful murals on the buildings, etc. So there really is some cool art and some great cultural experiences to be had in downtown Greeley as well. Maybe not everyone thinks about this, but when we considered moving to Greeley, we were concerned about the healthcare facilities. Myself and my wife were looking forward to growing our family. This past year, we welcomed a beautiful little baby girl, and we had that experience at the new UC Health Center here in Greeley, which was built in 2019-2020. Pretty great facility, and it's not the only one. There are several new health facilities throughout Greeley, so there's many employment opportunities for nurses and doctors and all the support staff that goes in there, as well as some great medical services for consumers, for folks that need the medical attention as they get older, for young people like myself and my wife who are having our first baby and trying to grow our family. There's really some great access to the things that you need to feel comfortable and to know that you're in a good position for your family and for your current situation. So the medical scene in Greeley is actually a great thing to consider when you are moving here as well. Another major advantage of Greeley is its proximity to Denver. Myself and my wife really enjoy sports. We go to the occasional Broncos game, the occasional Rockies game. It'd be nice to see them win a few more, but what can you do, right? That being said, to downtown Denver, you're looking hour 15 depending on traffic, which again, for a hick from the sticks in northeastern Colorado, beats a 2 to 3 hour drive. So the proximity to some of those Denver sport teams, Denver events, you've got the Pepsi Center, you've got concert series, you've got downtown itself and the 16th Street Mall. A lot of those things are only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Greeley, depending on your perspective and what feels like a drive to you, of course. We also have DIA, which is anywhere from a 45-minute to an hour 5, depending on the drive and traffic. A major advantage of Greeley, however, is that instead of taking the interstate and getting hit in that heavy traffic as Colorado continues to grow, we do have some alternate routes to those areas. You can take Highway 85 South, you can take the Weld County Parkway. There's some great options to really work around that traffic to make sure that you have a more enjoyable commute, which for me, growing up with no traffic, is a major plus to the area. So I love the commute, I love the the potential to have some different routes and some different options and to be able to get around quickly and conveniently. Greeley has great access to that. Another major advantage to Greeley and Evans is they have a very nice, consistent, and growing public transportation system. The GET, the Greeley Evans Transit. They run routes and they offer free rides for students as well, showing a student ID. So it's a pretty great opportunity to take advantage of. There's some great local transit. It really helps to make the city easy to transverse, easy to get around without a car. A lot of people still, depending on if they're transitioning or commuting to other towns, really do need a vehicle. That being said, Greeley is a town that you can get around and survive in with one car, especially if you're in proximity to some of the downtown shopping locations, etc. It's a pretty foot traffic friendly town. So Greeley's got some great advantages as far as that front. The Greeley-Evans community has some deep, deep agricultural roots, which makes sense because Weld County does more than $1 billion annually in agricultural revenue, making them the largest agricultural producers in the state. So Greeley really benefits from that. Greeley hosts the JBS USA headquarters, so they have a massive, massive economic driver in that agricultural industry that really helps with the small town and community feel that quite often accompanies those agricultural towns. So it's cool that you can take a city of 100,000 people, blend it with some small town agricultural values, and really end up with a tight-knit community that values a lot of pretty great things. So that being said, just because you have those small town feel doesn't mean that you don't have all the things consumers want access to, like shopping and restaurants, etc. As Greeley has seen some great growth over the last few years, and actually at one point in 2022 was the fastest growing city in the United States for a short period. We've seen some great growth throughout those commercial and entertainment type developments. So there's plenty to do for the average consumer. There's plenty of shopping. My wife is a big shopper, and I can keep her happy with the opportunities here in Greeley. So we love it. We love everything that there is to do. We really enjoy the community of Greeley. Greeley is a great place to live. That said, there are some potential drawbacks to consider as well. If you're an out-of-stater looking to move to Colorado, you have to take the amount of snow that we get into consideration. Two-wheel drive vehicles are probably not recommended here. You're going to get a couple heavy snowstorms. You're going to be shoveling consistently. You're going to get smaller storms throughout the winter. You're going to deal with some cold and some ice and things you probably do not get in some other states, especially with the proximity to the foothills. For Fort Collins, Greeley, any of the cities up here, you will be dealing with some snow. That's one of the perks or downsides that comes with Colorado, depending how you look at it. You're also going to deal with a little bit of traffic and some growing pains, which is natural in any city as it expands. Thankfully, as I mentioned, Greeley is not growing at the clip that it was back in 2022. We started to kind of settle down, which is very nice, but we are still seeing some decent growth in general. So you can expect some of those traditional growing pains, as I mentioned, kind of as the city urbanizes and continues to add some new development, some new apartments, some road changes, etc. So as it makes accommodations for its growth, we have to make accommodations and realize that there's going to be some natural downsides to that growth as well. So all those things considered, it's really, really important before you make a jump to Greeley or Evans or anywhere else for that matter, to have someone that you really trust and rely, or to go visit that place yourself so you can really get a feel for the community and the schools, the things in the area that you'll be heavily involved with. So while we love Greeley, we would love for you to come take a look at it as well. Come get to know us, come talk to us. Again, this is Caleb Andersen at the Sukup Real Estate team. We would love to talk with you at some point and jump into some real estate. So if you are interested, reach out to us. You can find us on Google and the socials at Sukup Real Estate Services. We'd be happy to talk with you at any time. This is Caleb, Team Sukup, signing out.